What is going on, my fellow vegans? This is another episode of the Fit Foodie Podcast. This is the place for plant-based foodies that want to lose weight, feel great, and elevate their lives. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Luis Medrano, and I am head coach at Vegan Body Goals. And I'm so happy to talk about this topic today, which is dear to my heart. And today's topic is how I was finally able to see my abs for the first time ever in my life. So, just a little bit of background, a little bit about my story. I went vegan in 2007, so been a number of years now, going on 20, believe it or not. And initially, when I first went vegan, I lost more than 45 pounds. And just because I was on the standard American diet and eating, heavy on the dairy and the meat and just kind of grew up that way, I became overweight. Even though I was active pretty much all my life, I just ballooned to over 210 pounds. And for me, that was overweight, very overweight. And just going vegan basically overnight. I shared my story in a previous episode of how I went vegan and my whole vegan story. So I won't get into that right now. But basically, going vegan overnight, I was able to shed more than 45 pounds and just feel amazing. And at one point, though, I kind of, even though I continued to stay vegan, I just kind of went back to old habits and I gained some weight back. And I had for years the skinny fat look where I looked lean when I wore clothes. I looked fit when I put on my outfits and I was active. I was playing soccer. I was, working out at home. But when I looked in the mirror, I still had that like belly flab, the muffin top. For me, especially, that's my that's where it accumulates for me. It's just that muffin top area. I don't know if you guys can relate, but for me, that was like the spot where I tend to, it all went, it seemed like. And I never had that, lean, athletic, fit look. And I never, honestly, ever in my life had been able to see my abs ever. And it was something that I just, had in my mind of like a goal that I had, something I wanted to accomplish that I just wanted to do for the first time ever, be able to see definition in my core. I'm not talking about like be a fitness model or anything. I wasn't trying to like, get on a magazine cover, but I did want to be able to see muscle definition in my core and see my abs for the first time, right? So, anyways, for years I just kind of carried on with this skinny fat look, looking lean, looking fit, but still having that flab around my tummy. And for me, what really did it, what finally made the biggest difference for me, this was that I actually finally decided, you know what, something needs to happen. I've been vegan for years, and yes, I initially lost the weight and felt good doing it, felt amazing at the beginning, but for a while I just was stagnant. And for me, it was making the decision to do something different, right? To approach the lifestyle in a different way. And at this time, I was, following a bunch of vegan fitness people on social media, just reading their posts. I was really into reading books and really learning about applying fitness principles to a plant-based diet. And I learned that there are so many top class athletes who follow a plant-based diet, who are lean, fit, strong in all kinds of different sports, right? And I mean, I wasn't trying to be a professional athlete or anything, but I did want that athletic look and I wanted to, have muscle definition in my body. And I never saw that, especially in my core area, right? And just with all the flab that I was carrying around. And it was, through watching documentaries like The Game Changers and, other documentaries on Netflix, I came to see that, what, it's very possible and I need to do something different. It was time to reach out and do something different. So through following these different vegan fitness people on social media, and learning from them, I eventually reached out to one who was a certified vegan fitness coach, a bodybuilder, competed in as a professional, and I reached out to him, and I eventually hired my first ever fitness coach through totally online, all through Instagram. But I had been following him for years. I knew he was vegan and he was a professional bodybuilder and professional competitor. And so I hired him as my coach. And I pretty much told him my goal that I wanted to be able to see my abs for the first time ever. And that was something that I just never experienced in my life. I wasn't always overweight, but I wasn't, at a point where even though I looked lean, I could never really see my ab muscles. And until I reached out to my coach and I told him my goal, and I said, look, this is what I want to do. I want to basically reveal my abs. It was that simple. And he broke it down for me and told me how he could help me do that, right? He told me how he could help me with achieving that goal of finally revealing my abs. And I hired him, and I ended up working with him for an entire year, because not only was it essential, at the beginning stages, initially it was a 4-month program that I signed on for, but he helped me shed fat, and I'm going to reveal the game plan that I used with my coach to make that happen. But after the initial 4 months, I had, it wasn't just about the revealing of the abs. It was also about the continuing on, because for me, fitness is a lifelong journey. It's not like I could see my abs, I'm done. And so from there we kind of developed next steps to see what was next, what we could do now. And from there it became, okay, now that I see that I shed a bunch of fat and I could see my core muscles, my abs, I realized, you know what, I want to put more muscle on my frame. So then we reverse dieted. I learned about the principles of reverse dieting. And then I learned about, eating in a calorie surplus, meaning eating more food than you burn, so that I was able to gain weight, right? And gain muscle. And from there, I just learned more and more how to track macros and how to apply basic fitness principles to a vegan diet, right? And that is what did it for me. And in this episode, I want to reveal exactly what I did in the initial 4 months to shed the fat so that I could see my abs, right? And hopes that you can use this information and kind of as a guide to get you going in the right direction for getting to your weight loss goal, getting to your fitness goal, whether you want to lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds, or 20 pounds, whatever the case may be. Just for some context, I ended up losing more than 16 pounds of fat in the initial 4 months. And then from there, we went into a reverse dieting phase where I slowly started eating more food, brought everything kind of back in balance. And then from there, we went to a muscle building phase. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and break it down, guys. So game plan for exactly how I was able to reveal my abs for the first time. So the initial step was, and this is the first action step for you, was having a vision, having a goal, what it is that I wanted. So for you, it's what is it that you want, right? Keep it simple. And I simply summarized it in one sentence. I want to reveal my abs, plain and simple. And so that's step one, right? Identify what it is you want. And so I understood that I had to shed body fat, because it's not about doing crunches and, killing yourself in the gym doing crunches and planks and all this stuff to try to, do that. It was simply the concept of shedding body fat in order to make it happen. So once the goal was identified, the next step became a game plan to make it happen. So for me, it was getting a gym membership. I had never owned a gym membership. I enjoyed working out, but for me, it was always home workouts. And I actually was kind of excited to do it because I had never been to the gym. I never owned a gym membership. I wanted to do something different to get different results. And it's not like going to the gym is the only way to make that happen, but it was for me a new adventure. You could call it that, right? So setting up a workout routine that allowed me to keep my muscles kind of growing and not so much during the fat loss phase, but not so much growing, but um, just keeping them strong and not making sure that the weight that I lost was fat and not muscle, because lean muscle can be lost in a weight loss phase. And I definitely didn't want that. So making sure that I was hitting the gym 4 to 5 times a week and that I was doing, fundamental exercises to work out my entire body, legs, chest, arms, back, and my whole body, right? So going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. And then also setting up a fat loss diet with making it completely vegan, right? So we ended up, he gave me a game plan, a meal plan that I followed to the T. And the key though with the meal plan, because it wasn't so much about the types of food I ate, it was about the types of macronutrients that I included in my diet. And for those of you that might not know, macronutrients, the three macros are proteins, carbs, and fats, right? Basically, every food contains some amounts of protein, carbs, and fats, and some contain a higher concentration of each, right? We call them protein foods, carb foods, fat foods, right? So, for example, nuts, they contain protein and carbs, but they're considered a fat source because most of their calories come from fats, right? So, anyways, my meal plan was structured to ensure that I received an adequate amount of protein. That way, when I was losing the weight, the fat was what was burning off and not fat and muscle. We didn't want any lean muscle being burned off, right? So my meal plan was structured so that the macronutrients were in a ratio for my specific body type, right? Because it's not a one size fits all, to get adequate amounts of protein, carbs, and fats. And I remember to this day the meal plan for that initial when I first started with my working with my coach was I had a tofu scramble, which I'm a huge fan of tofu and scramble. So that was like my meal one, a nice big tofu scramble. And then I'll talk about sizes of meals in a second. There was also a smoothie, nice fruit, protein, green smoothie that was part of my meal plan. And then my dinner was like this huge vegan chicken salad, right? And I say huge because what allowed me to eat in a calorie deficit, which means that I burned more calories than I ate less calories than I burned every day, was because the food that I was eating was high volume, low calorie food, right? Vegetables, greens are definitely your top foods where you will be able to eat a large amount of it, but still stay within your calorie targets, right? Not overdo it. For example, if I have a big chicken salad and it's this pile of lettuce, I mean, that's a ton of lettuce. It's going to fill me up along with the other ingredients, but it's not going to like provide a ton of calories. So it was the tofu scramble full of veggies and again, high volume food, the smoothie, and then I also had a big chicken salad for dinner. So I did that to start off. And then so let's kind of go back to the steps, right? Step one is to identify the goal that I wanted to do, which was review my abs. Step two was set up a workout program where I ensured that I put my muscle under stress to make sure that, there was some tone, because once the fat was gone, I want to make sure there was some muscle tone, right? And then the third thing was setting up a meal plan that was specific to my body, my current weight, and my goals. And obviously, it was 100% vegan. And the key factor was ensuring that the macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats fit what I was trying to do, right? My goals. And so it was from then on, it was a matter of adhering to that plan as close as possible, as close as possible. And that's pretty much what did it. There was, of course, there was days in those 4 months where I missed maybe a workout or I didn't hit my meal plan, what my food, my calories, my macro targets. But honestly, since I was just so excited to do something different and to really accomplish this goal, I stuck with it for the majority of those days. And because of that, I was able to see the results, right? And so eventually another part. So step four, I want to get to the action, keep it action oriented, right? Was tracking my progress. Because if you don't track it, how are you going to know how are you going to know if you're actually losing the weight and losing the fat? So every week, once a week, I hopped on the scale and I measured my body fat, and we just kind of saw where things were going. Was I dropping weight? And if so, was it at a healthy rate, right? You don't want to drop too much weight too fast. And then also, was my body fat percentage going down? And over the course of the first 4 months, I shed over 16 pounds of body fat. And for the first time ever, I was able to reveal my abs and see them in the mirror, right? And it was like an amazing accomplishment to me. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't like I didn't feel like super ecstatic to the point where I was like, I did it. Yeah, I'm jumping up and screaming off the top of the mountain. Like, it was a great feeling. But because I know that fitness is a journey, it was like, okay, cool. Now what's next? Right? Because to me, it wasn't like that's it. It was like, what's next? So I'm not going to get into the next phases and what happened next and the reverse dieting. That's for another episode. But this episode is solely focused on how I was able to reveal my abs, right? So of all the things, don't get me wrong, they're all important, right? They all matter. But of all the things that I did, have a goal, come up with a workout plan, have a meal plan that that hit my macros for my specific body and tracking, they're all important. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. All of these matter. But of all those 4 items, in my opinion, and through my experience, and through hearing the experience of others, and even people that I've seen just through online and talking to them, the structured macronutrient meal plan is what is the big difference maker. I mean, I could have sat on my butt for 4 months, not gone to the gym, not tracked anything, but still ate my meals, ate my food, and I would have lost the weight. I probably wouldn't have felt that at my best because I'm not working out and moving. And I probably wouldn't have seen much muscle definition because I'm not, at the gym lifting weights, but I still would have lost the weight simply because the nutrition played a huge role. So that was what did it for me, guys. And these are 4 action steps that you can put into place right now in order to start seeing results in your weight loss goal, right? And you don't have to have a major goal like reveal your abs or lose 50 pounds. It could be something small to start with to prove to yourself that doing these things will work, right? So let's recap, guys, to kind of wrap up this episode here. 4 things that I did to finally reveal my abs, exactly what I did. So step 1 was to set a goal, right? So my goal was simply, I want to reveal my abs, period. Working with my coach, he taught me that basically comes down to shedding body fat. I learned about macros, how to track them, how to apply them to a vegan diet, how to eat amazing vegan food and still lose the weight, right? So that was step 1. Step 2 was develop a workout plan that allowed me to work out my entire body every week to make sure that my muscles stay toned during this fat loss phase and that I wasn't burning muscle as well as fat, right? Step 3 was to develop a meal plan that focused on macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats, and calories specific to my body and my goal, right? Depending on what weight I was and how much weight I wanted to lose. So in that meal plan included in the beginning, included things like tofu scramble, smoothies, big chicken salad. And the key in a fat loss phase to be successful and not feel like you're dieting is the volume of food. You need to have big ass plates and bowls of food so that it doesn't feel like you're just eating, a piece of carrot and celery and some lettuce. And that's just horrible. You never want to do a deprivation diet like that, right? So I was eating these big ass scrambles with a bunch of veggies, huge chicken salads, all vegan, of course. And the key to make it a high volume is vegetables, greens. Those are your top 2 choices, right? The more veggies, the more greens, the more food you can have and still be in a calorie deficit, right? And then this 4th thing that I did, which you can do, is to track your progress. Weigh yourself and track how you're doing every week so that you can see if you need to make adjustments and make proper adjustments. And so that's what I did. I weighed myself once a week, in the morning after using the restroom, first thing. And we saw where my weight was, where my body fat was, and adjustments were made as needed, right? And through the course of 16 weeks of 4 months, honestly, most of the results happened in the first 12 weeks. So you can see major results in 8 to 12 weeks if you follow this game plan, guys. So in those 4 months, in those 16 weeks, I was able to finally, for the first time in my life, reveal my 6-pack abs. And it was something super exciting for me, of course. But more than anything, guys, and this applies to you too, was the person I became in the process and the learning that occurred in the process. Because I learned skills that I'm able to apply forever, not just like if I want to lose weight, but how to stay fit, how to keep the weight off, and then change things up to reverse diet and eat more food to put on muscle. So I was able to learn all these concepts along the way, not just, lose fat, reveal my abs, but how to keep the results forever, right? And then continue on to the next bigger and better goal. So anyways, guys, I hope you found this useful. 4 things that you can do right now in accomplishing your fat loss goal, your fitness goal. And this is exactly how I was able to reveal my abs for the first time, guys. So hope you found this helpful. Hope you found this useful, guys. My name is Luis Medrano, head coach at Vegan Body Goals. This is the Fit Foodie Podcast, a place for plant-based foodies that want to lose weight, feel great, and elevate their lives. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, love, and have a great week.